Hello. So I've been trying to make this video for a while, and this is probably about my 12th go at starting it. It's not an easy one to make, so bear with me. Now, I've made mental health videos before, and I always start them off by saying the same thing. I'm not a mental health professional. I can't give you advice on treatment or anything like that. I can't tell you what's going to work for you, and I can't help you with your problems. So if you have any kind of problems in your life that you feel you can't cope with, or if you feel that you need help, please ask for it. If you don't feel you can talk to a healthcare professional, then try and speak to your family or your friends, or one of the crisis helplines that are there specifically to help you, and I'll put links to some of those in the description. Now, what I am here to do is to share some of my recent personal experience with mental illness. Now, I thought I had a pretty good idea of what my mental problems consisted of, but I've recently discovered that that is not the case. Basically, for a long time I thought that the primary problems that I had were depression and anxiety, and that was mostly what I worked on. However, recently I've been given a different diagnosis. I've been told that I have OCD, and this was something that I had begun to suspect myself, because my symptoms were sort of presenting in a different way. And so I went and saw a doctor, and he came to the same conclusion. So, basically the reason I'm making this video, and hopefully I'll be making some more, is to share my journey of learning to understand and manage my OCD, both as part of my self-care and catharsis for me, and also to show anybody who might be feeling a similar way that they're not alone. And also generally to raise the awareness of the side of OCD that you don't see and that can be really difficult to understand, and also just to continue sort of trying to do whatever I can to promote open and honest conversations about mental illness, because I think that's really important. So, one of the things also I just want to mention that I'm not going to discuss is specific medications. I've seen people ask that on other mental health videos before, and as I've said, I'm not a mental health professional of any kind. I cannot give you advice on medications. I don't feel that it would be responsible of me to discuss that in a public video. So, what I am going to discuss is a bit of my experience of OCD so far, what getting diagnosis has been like for me, and yeah, how that's going, I guess. So, a brief sort of description of my general experience of OCD is that my OCD is very much the mental side of it. That's what gives me problems. It's the obsession aspect of it that is the main issue for me. There isn't much compulsive behaviour associated with it in my case, and that's what I mean in terms of the side of it that's difficult to see and really difficult to understand, and also isn't portrayed in the media very much. You see the sort of washing your hands a lot, being very neat and tidy and liking things in a certain order and all that kind of stuff, and they portray that because that's the side of it that you can see, that's the side of it that you can get across in a film or a TV show. But for many people, even those who do have compulsive behaviours, the obsessive side of it is equally bothersome, or even more so, and sometimes it's most of the problem, such as in my case. And what that looks like, again, does differ for everyone. I'm going to describe it myself here, but I'm also going to link in the description another video that I really like, which is on the 100 Days channel. It's a video where the author John Green talks about his OCD, which I think is relatively similar to mine. So basically, the obsessions that I have tend to revolve around picking things apart in an effort to understand the workings of them. The problem with that being that the things that I'm picking apart could be a completely hypothetical situation that's never happened. It could be a personal relationship with a friend, family member, colleague, person of romantic interest, whatever. And again, most of the time it is based on sort of things that my mind has either invented or exaggerated. And you know, I say analysing things and picking it apart and trying to understand it, and that probably doesn't sound that bad, except for the fact that that turns into every possible way that this situation could go wrong, however ridiculous, or all the reasons why I'm not good enough to deserve that person in my life, or they're just humouring me because I'm not worthy of anyone actually taking an interest in me or spending time with me, and all the reasons why that would be true, however crazy, and most of them are crazy. And again, that still might not be sounding that bad, but I lose hours a day. When it's at its worst, I lose hours every day just trapped in my brain, because I have this at times overwhelming feeling that if I don't follow the train of thought, if I don't get to the point where I understand it, I will miss something, and that will cause some kind of disaster, or it will ruin the rest of my life, or it will ruin that relationship with that person, any number of things. And it gets to the point where it is torture. You know, it's unbearable, and it isn't. It gets to the point where I can't stop thinking about it, even if I wanted to, because the thoughts just keep coming. That's a psychological phenomenon which is generally known as intrusive thoughts. The closest analogue that a lot of people experience is just that split second thought when you're standing at the edge of a cliff or a tall building that you could jump off. Not that you want to, just that you could. I think that's the closest thing to intrusive thinking that a lot of people experience, and it's like that, but for me it's hundreds or thousands of thoughts in a row with no pause. You know, to the point in the worst cases, on the very worst days, I'm unable to function. I at times can't do anything other than think, and that's been very strange. Feeling like you're not in the driving seat in your own mind at times is very odd. And that's, I think, been the hardest part of it for me, is coming to this realisation that actually the depression and the anxiety are secondary symptoms, effectively, of the OCD, and that in fact things that I'd regarded as just part of who I was and aspects of my personality are in fact quite possibly attributable to the disorder, which has been very odd. To a degree, I felt like I'm having to relearn who I am, because I don't necessarily now always feel like I know where I end and the disorder begins. And so that's been difficult, and that combined with fighting against the sort of obsessive thought spirals, as John Green calls them, I don't know if he coined the term or not, fighting against those constantly, and very often they are negative about myself in terms of self-worth or what have you. That becomes very tiring. I'm often left just feeling exhausted and isolated because there's no way anyone could ever relate to or understand what I'm feeling, which again is nonsense, but it feels that way very much. And at times when it's at its worst, it just makes you feel hopeless, as if if I can't even control my own mind, what hope could there possibly be that I'll get better? Now, I know there are probably people watching this who know me, and that might make you a bit concerned, and I appreciate that if that's the case. But rationally, I know that these things are not true. The thing that makes it a disorder is the fact that that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I know that it's rubbish, or I know that it's not going to happen, or that the person I'm thinking about does in fact care for me because they've shown it many times, or whatever it might be. It doesn't matter because, as I mentioned before, at the time it feels like I'm not in the driving seat. They're not my thoughts. At least not all the time. And that can be very hard. So I think I'm pretty much going to leave it there. As I say, this video is really just intended to be a bit of a description of my experience of OCD so far. I'm in treatment, which I think is working. I think the combination is beginning to work for me. I think it's going to be a long and hopefully interesting journey of renewed self-discovery and hopefully growth. But I'm sure there are going to be some bumps in the road along the way, but I'm going to try and do my best to share as much of it as I can. Again, just to really raise awareness of what this looks like when it isn't what you see on TV. So, to sort of wrap things up, if you feel that what I've just described is very similar to your experience, please ask for help. I can't tell you how much progress I've made. Yes, I've still got a long way to go, but since asking for help and pushing to get the help that I felt I needed, which unfortunately in this country sometimes is necessary, I've made so much more progress since I've done that than in years on my own trying to figure it out myself. And really, if I don't really believe that this is something you can solve on your own, to be honest, I don't, because it is so difficult to see it objectively when your ability to see things objectively is part of the problem. I don't think there is a way round that, certainly not without very high risk of serious harm to you or somebody else on the way. So please ask for help. There are literally countless people out there who want to help you, who have spent their entire educational careers and many, many thousands of pounds getting qualifications in order to help people exactly like you. So please let them do that. And that's what I'm going to end on. So I hope this has been interesting or given some of you some insight into what OCD can be like and what it's like for me specifically. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or wherever else I end up putting this. I will try and respond to all of them, assuming I see them. And yeah, if you'd like to see what happens on the rest of my journey, you can subscribe to the channel. I don't know how frequently I'm going to be posting videos at this point. Obviously at the moment I'm very much putting my health first, so it will depend on that. And yeah, I hope to share some more of this journey with you all, and hopefully maybe do a bit of good with it. Okay, take care.